Best Chase here with another video. And today we are reacting to scary sightings. How do you spell chills again? Chills. That's good enough. Number 15. Something lettuce. Can this thing, like, get out of here? Okay. Number 15. Burger King foot fungus lettuce. 11 scary ghost sightings caught on tape. Abandoned place. How to survive an airplane. No, we're looking for cool stuff. Laser. Not laser beam. And scariest things caught on dash cam. Let's do it. I don't do no adverts. No free ads. Actually, one of those is pretty cool, so.
Dash cams are mainly used to protect drivers in court, but every once in a while, they record things that seem to border on the realm of the impossible. Many of the people on this list have stories so outrageous that they would never be believed without
Holy
some form of video evidence. Number 13. Two friends are having a discussion in a car late one night when something unusual and alarming makes them give pause.
Okay, that's a bit scary. Yeah, that's a bit scary. That is very scary.
Alright. Sitting motionless in the middle of the road is what appears to be a pale, almost translucent child, silently regarding them with a blank, featureless face. The two friends ask,
how do you get all that from that video? Like, I can barely even see it's a child.
They weren't sure what to make of this child at the time, but they later suspect that it was in fact an unfriendly spirit waiting for them.
It'd be hilarious if that was like a doll or something, and while they were backing up, a car just came around the corner and BOW! It'd be hilarious. Because I don't want to hit a child unless it's a demon, so if it was a doll, it'd be funny, or a demon. Holy smokes.
Was taken during a massive wildfire in Sonoma County, California in 2017. Officers are doing what they can to evacuate the public and restore order, but as this brief dashcam video shows, they were up against total chaos at the time.
I would not be driving through that, actually. Oh, my face cam's not on.
Listen
Camera.
closely and you'll even hear the dispatcher say that they can't tell which direction the fire is spreading and seems to be genuinely overwhelmed. I have to salute this officer and all of the other brave public officials who willingly charged
Yes, I am still on my couch, so don't get mad at me.
Number 11. It's a peaceful bus ride in the Russian countryside until the large vehicle finds itself surrounded by a countless number of these winged pests.
It's called birds and moths, maybe. Actually, there might be all those big
Everyone
moths.
inside is terrified as a swarm of gigantic locusts slam into the bus with enough force to rock its heavy-duty suspension system. The sky darkens and the driver and passengers are all helpless as the bus careens through millions upon millions of these oversized bugs, threatening to veer off course if things get much worse. Eventually,
is that the truck or is the, I don't know what. Oh, this is the truck.
Insect cloud. Everyone is ultimately unharmed, but understandably very alarmed at what they had just witnessed. If the bus had broken down, for example, then they would have been stranded until the never-ending swarm of locusts had passed. Not to mention what would have happened if the windows had broken. Number 10. A police officer in Lincoln, Kentucky,
I would have died. Like, I would, you know what I mean. I would have been like, bow. Of course, I could actually do that. That's practically
investigate.
impossible.
Deputy Jeremy Gatton of the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office was on a routine patrol when his headlights shone across something running towards him.
The officer is surprised to find a small child standing in the middle of the road without any adults nearby. He instinctively picks the toddler up, and just moments later, a Mack truck plows by very close to where the child was first spotted. It's a good thing the police officer saw the child first, because I doubt
Okay,
the driver of the
that's
tall
sad.
truck would have noticed
I hope
until it
that
was too
child was
late.
okay.
Apparently, the child had wandered out the front door of his home when no one was looking and took off down the busy road. The family was extremely relieved to have their child back, and fortunately, they were not charged with neglect. Number 9. This YouTuber is fairly sure that he's captured a ghost on his dash cam when he's traveling down a suburban road and sees reflective lights on the right. Watch the parked car on the right to see what I mean.
Wait, which side's that?
I personally think it looks like someone could be stepping into his line of movement here. It happens quickly, so I'll play it again in slow motion. Let me know if you see it.
It's got a reflection,
When he pulls out
people.
to
I
where
mean,
the lights
come on.
were, he and his friends are surprised to find nothing's there.
Where did it go?
Oh, they didn't see it on the camera later. They saw it in real life.
Both of them swear they saw the lights and thought someone was crossing the street. I guess his headlights could have been reflecting off of the parked car, but then again, the angle doesn't exactly seem to match up. Let me know if you see it and what you think it could have been. Number 8.
Wait,
A gigantic streak of
did the
lightning
door open?
in Paducah,
That
Kentucky
was
was so large that it was caught by 2 different police dash cams. The first
Wait.
police car was far away, and its dash cam footage shows just how long this massive lightning bolt was, and the second police car was much, much closer.
Holy smokes!
The lightning
When you
bolt
said
directly
much,
hit
much
a nearby
closer, I didn't know you meant
residence.
like
Fortunately,
on
everyone
it.
inside was all right, but this particular officer will never forget how close he came to being charred alive. Number 7. A Russian driver is having a casual conversation behind the wheel when suddenly his thoughts are interrupted by a bizarre and unexpected change of events.
Holy smokes! What? Dude, this guy's out. Did you see the guy? Pictures to the left. This guy runs. He did it. He did it.
As a gigantic sinkhole
He did it.
forms underneath its back
Unless
tires,
he's going to get.
the cement truck driver soon comes out and surveys what just happened, but there's little for him
Just
to
like
do.
pops out.
If anything,
He was
and everyone else
bold.
should be hurrying to get away from the sinkhole instead of casually
Dude,
observing
look,
it.
the guy
I
on
don't
the
know
left,
what
right
happened
here.
next, but hopefully the
Look.
sinkhole did not grow any larger.
Okay,
and
he's right
everyone
behind
made
this
it
blue
out
truck right here.
okay. Number 6.
Oh, you didn't see it.
This
You didn't see
electrifying
it.
event occurred in
But
May
he
of
did
2017 on the
chugs.
northeastern side of Shenyang City. A white-hot light showers the street with sparks, but it's not from a blown transformer or down power lines. A bolt of lightning has cracked the asphalt with the type of raw power that only nature can generate. It's a good thing
This
that
was
the
gonna be a
street was lined
scary
with
video
trees
thing, but we're
instead
doing that
of
after
power
I just got
lines,
hooked
or else
in.
this dash cam video would have almost certainly looked a whole lot
Number
worse.
15.
Number 5. This dash cam footage was taken on a busy road somewhere in India. Nothing looks out of the ordinary until a tiny object performs a bizarre aerial maneuver while hovering above the road. The saucer-shaped object appears to somehow stop and change directions mid-flight. Somehow, none of the oncoming motorists in the other lane seem to notice, which I think is odd, but maybe it all happened too fast for them to
I don't
see.
think they're real.
If not, then I
Holy
think this
smokes.
dashcam video might be a fake, but I'm curious to hear your opinion. Number 4. A YouTuber named Alyssa Cross is driving down a local road
This is the one
somewhere in
with
the
thumbnail.
south when she comes across a person who she has never seen before acting quite strangely by the side of the road. hear the nervousness in Alyssa's voice as she and her friend agree that it looks like this person could have some sort of strange virus. Zombie or not, one can only wonder how many other viral outbreaks
I don't think it's a
began in
zombie.
this exact same casual style of conversation. It appears that if that's not the case, then this person is under the influence of something strong. Alyssa quietly drives past and leaves the stranger behind. Number 3. This mysterious dashcam footage was
by the
taken
way,
somewhere
so
near
you don't
years
act like
ago
I'm
and has
taking
been
his
stunning
content. This guy's
YouTubers
name is
across the
Chills.
world ever
Definitely go
since.
check him out.
When this car
And
takes a
subscribe.
left, you can clearly see
I
that
haven't
all of the
subscribed.
other cars in the opposite lane are at a full stop. In other words, there's absolutely
I was like,
no
and
incoming
subscribe,
traffic.
but I haven't subscribed, so I'm gonna go subscribe.
Then all of a sudden this happens.
I want something to explode.
The car is suddenly cut off by a second car that appears seemingly out of nowhere. Keep in mind that 2 other cars were making a right at the same time, and
How
at no
the
point
heck?
does there appear to be any
Wait.
space for this ghost car to squeeze through. I've watched this video over a dozen times and still have no explanation, so help me out if you have any idea
I have
how
no
this
idea
happened.
what just happened.
Number 2. Ronald Wiley was driving down a long stretch of road in West Virginia when suddenly no less than 7 trees simultaneously fall
I'm
nearly
gonna make
on
the
him.
face cam a
In his
little
blue
bit bigger.
pickup truck, he's stunned for a moment and then
There we
quickly
go.
throws the vehicle in reverse because there are live power lines near that look like they could give way at any moment if Ronald had been going just a little bit faster, or if the trees were growing literally just a few inches to the left. Then he no doubt would have been caught in the middle of
I'm sorry about this.
and been a goner for sure. Instead of this outcome, he somehow
Okay.
makes it with only minor damage to the windshield wiper. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. I'm currently doing a super
I'm actually
poll
supposed to
on
go
my
follow him because I
Instagram.
want to know
If
what
you
he looks
believe
like.
ghosts are real, then go to my most recent photo and tap the like button. If you don't, DM me saying why. When you're done, come right back to this video to find out the number 1 entry. Also, follow me on Twitter at YTChills because that's where I post video updates. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then
Well.
thank you. This way, you'll be notified of the new videos I upload every Thursday and
I'm
Sunday.
generous enough to do that.
Number 1. It's late.
Oh! 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 Oh, do y'all want to look at that? Trying to move the face cam out of the way. Oh! I've actually had this app before. It's not that good because you can't see any videos or anything unless you get like a membership or anything. Or it's like $7.
Late at night in the Russian Urals when suddenly the atmosphere itself becomes unrecognizable.
It's pretty recognizable. I mean,
a brilliant flash of reddish yellow light intensifies for a full 15 seconds before
15
dissolving back
seconds.
into darkness as
That's
if
so
nothing had
long.
happened. Scientists
Full
have been able to give no
15
explanation for this occurrence, so this looks like it could possibly be a blast in my opinion. Give me your best guess or let me know if you agree. Either way, this
Dude, can you
dazzling
please
silent
be
light
quiet?
show
I
is
spent
one
the
of
night on the
craziest
couch
things I've
tonight.
seen on Dashcam
And it's
by
right by
far.
his door, so I could have the big.
Surveillance systems are
Let
supposed to
me
keep
show
you
you.
secure, but
The
all
big
too
screen.
often, this feeling of extra
We're playing
safety is simply
GTA.
just an illusion. Bad things can always happen in an instant, and during these types of situations, all a surveillance system
If
can
y'all
do
didn't
is
see it,
document the
okay.
scary events as they unfold.
19 UFO sightings caught on live TV. I want to see, why did I click on
Whether
that?
you are a believer or simply stands
GTA.
for unidentified flying
It looks
object.
really
So
small,
even
but
if
this
the
is like a
UFOs on this
72-inch
list are not
TV.
alien in nature, the point is that we have no idea what
Probably
they
not
actually
72,
are,
I don't know.
and we likely never will.
Probably like
Number
60.
19.
I don't
An
know, but it's a
Oklahoma
really big
news
TV.
station randomly captures a low-flying UFO during a cutaway shot shortly before commercial. COKO 5 News later shows this
We got
footage to the
10 scariest things caught on security. 11 ghost sightings caught on tape in abandoned building. Haunted lighthouse very fast. Hey, I've seen that before. It was a TV show. Well, it was on a TV show. 13 mysteries event caught on live TV. How to survive a nuclear attack. I don't understand, but okay. What the? I kind of want to go to that house. Yeah, I didn't see it. Oh, here we go. I saw something in the woods. I can't explain full story.
So I'm still a bit shaken up from what happened. I have no clue what I saw, and I just want some answers. I guess I should explain. My family has managed to keep its hands on a good chunk of land out in the middle of Ochigo National Forest. It's a beautiful place down there, but it's got some problems. There's no cell service.
I was going to say, maybe we don't have to go to Zinsirian, because I'll do that on video.
Basically, if anything happens out there, you're screwed.
Just got my Instagram. Shout out. You should go follow me. Yeah, follow me.
I've been going since I was a kid with my dad.
I'll leave it in the description.
And everything was great. I remember sitting around the campfire and hearing coyotes all around us. Scared me a little, but I was comforted
scared
by
me
it
a little.
in a weird way.
I love his voice. It's not like,
most you'd see out there is
you
a
know,
couple of ATVs, maybe a cougar,
ATVs.
that's it. But everything changed last weekend. My dad and I went down to the property to check on how things were holding up. We do this sort of thing all the time. You need to with a place like this. The place was turning 100, and it seems nature is trying to take it back. It's infested with rats, and termites are starting to eat it. It's sad to see the place I spent so much time as a kid be in a state like this, but I was doing something about it at least. On the drive there, I started noticing a few deer carcasses, fresh ones. It's nothing unusual around there, just Mother Nature taking its course. But something about it gave me a weird vibe. To make matters weirder, we found pretty big prints in the gravel around our place.
Sorry,
My dad had been up there for years, and he said he's never seen a print like that. We chalked it up to some hikers playing a joke or something. Nothing else major happened that day, but I had some great times with my dad that day. He's been having a rough time. He had a bad car crash last month, and he's had surgery after surgery to try and fix his back, with absolutely no results. He smiled for the first time.
Why did I hide my face
from
the camera? I mean,
and I'm just glad I could.
It's not like you're gonna get it through the camera.
The next day, I noticed more deer carcasses, a lot more, and closer to the cabin. Poor things were absolutely mutilated. My dad, figuring it was some creep stalking us, tried firing some shots to scare whoever it was off. The gun was jammed though, so he gave it a rest. Later that night, my dad dad and I built up a nice little fire and started talking. It was fun, but I noticed a sound. We both froze up right there. The sound of it. I've been there for most of my life and I have never heard something like that. Imagine a woman screaming, mix it with a boar, and put it through the fires of hell. That's what that thing sounded like.
I don't know what a boar is, so I
Locking
don't know.
all the doors, I realized we
On
left the
camera, I
gun
look
out
really
near the
pale for some
campfire,
reason.
but my dad
Like,
kept me
in
from
real
running
life,
out
I'm
there.
like, oh, well, you can't see me now.
We ended up sleeping
In real
there
life,
that
I'm really
night,
tan. Why do
and
I look
after
so
a few
pale?
sleepless hours, I finally passed out.
Like, dead serious.
The
Like,
next day,
I'm not like that.
there
I'm
were
not just
more
trying to
deer
act like I'm.
carcasses. It was different
the-
though. All the bodies were piled outside the cabin, like someone put them there, like they wanted us to see. What's worse, our gun had disappeared. We dragged off the corpses, trying to stay
Wait.
calm. And
I'm sorry, I
started
interrupted you.
working
Can we go
again.
back? He found a buck.
And after a few sleepless hours, I finally passed out. The next day, there were more deer carcasses. It was different though. All the bodies were piled outside
Oh, okay.
the cabin.
I thought he was talking about human bodies.
Like they wanted us
I'm gonna be
to
quiet
see.
now so you can listen.
What's worse, our gun had disappeared. We dragged off the corpses, trying to stay calm, and started working again. The day was long and hot, but we made some good work. I couldn't stop myself from thinking about the bodies, about the sound last night. I could tell that my dad was shaken up too, not that he would admit it. We decided to not light a fire that night, in case whatever that sound was came back. The car was cramped, but I figured it was better than staying out with whatever that thing is. It had been a few hours. We had fallen asleep, and everything was all right. Later that night, though, I got woken up by a sound. I laid there for a few minutes, too scared to lift my head. All I could think of were those deer, that sound. I braced myself and sat up. That's when I locked eyes with the thing. It was probably 8 or 9 feet tall, and while the moon was bright that night, whatever it is soaked up the light with its pitch black fur. All I could see was its 2 milky white eyes and its smile. That smile, it was grinning ear to ear, and it was staring straight at me. I couldn't look away as it slowly lifted its finger to its mouth. It slowly turned and strode off in steps way too long. I couldn't dare let myself move until I lost sight of that thing. We left that same night. Now, I'm a reasonable person. I don't just see things, and I know what I saw out there. I'm terrified to go out there again, but I need to know what's going on there. Okay, so I got a knock on my door, and I found this note. What is going on here? Okay, so some of you noticed there was stuff on the back. So I tried to get a good shot of what was on it, but my phone died. I can tell you guys that it's a letter from the hospital about my dad's back surgery. The numbers people mentioned were scribbled all over the paper, and I couldn't tell what they meant. But I noticed there were GPS coordinates. It leads to some empty lot. I'm not sure if I should go there, but what do you guys think? I've also seen that you guys think this thing might be a
y'all read the
skinwalker.
comments?
I'll be heading to the cabin this Wednesday, so I'll be sure to bring a shaman with me. Okay, so before I get into what happened yesterday, I just wanted to talk about a few things. Firstly, I wanted to start off by thanking
I wouldn't
all
be
of
sitting
you
in the
for
dark
your
all
advice.
alone.
I'm honestly not sure if yesterday would have gone so well if it wasn't for the tips you guys gave me. Secondly, I've noticed some people driving by my house ever since I posted the first part of my story. I don't know if they're connected to what's been happening or if I'm just being paranoid. But either way, I'm freaked out. Finally, before I headed to the property, I I decided to check on the empty lot I found through the note. I managed to only find a few empty spray cans and a pile of ashes. I'm sure I could have found more, but everything in my body was telling me that I need to get out of there. I might go back there at some point, but I can't promise anything. Anyways, my dad and I bought a new rifle and, as you guys recommended, some silver bullets. It was a pain to get, but I managed to buy some white oak oil from some dude on Craigslist. After I got everything together, I headed out early Wednesday morning for the cabin. The first stretch of road seemed to go on for miles, and my mind couldn't help but wander as I drove onwards. Flashes of blood and fur crashed through my mind, that terrible roar still echoing in my ears. Stuff like that has been happening ever since I got back. Though it's far from the worst of my problems, I'll save it for my therapist to handle. By the time I reached the reservation, the sun was barely peeking over the dusty hills, shining its golden light upon the land. I always loved driving through here, seeing the dusty hills and plateaus, watching golden drops of light dance on the surface of streams. Now, though, it was different. A colder feeling draped over me as I pulled into the museum. If anyone knows what this thing is, it's these people. After a bit of scrounging around, I found someone there who knew what this thing might be. Their best guess was a skinwalker, and while unfortunately there wasn't anybody still around who knew how to deal with one, they gave me a small bundle of sage and wished me luck.
A freaking skinwalker.
The rest of my drive seemed to pass quickly, and I only had one thought on my mind. The skinwalker is not going to see the light of day again. I was so enveloped in my rage and determination that I barely realized I was there. The moment I drove up to the gate, I knew something was wrong. It was only when I got up to the driveway that I knew what set me off. Whether you believe in them or not, demonic possessions can be classified as a strange phenomenon that has occurred in practically every culture for thousands of years. Modern technology now
I feel like
allows
we
the
should
world
go
to
back.
document these supposed possessions in a way that history has never led us before. Take a look at these potential cases of demonic possession and let me know if you think evil spirits can take control of our own bodies against our will. Television in the early 1990s, ABC aired the supposed demons aren't going out without a fight. First, the priests literally have to hold her down. They even insist that she will levitate if they let situation. Apparently, 10 vicious demons are taking turns controlling her every day, she says. 2 of the demons she named were called Zion and Minga. Whether or not Zozo was one of the 10 was never revealed. Soon after mentioning them by name, her possession kicks into high gear.
God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit.
She looks very intimidating, especially for such a young country girl, but the raw hatred in her eyes wasn't enough to deter the priest from going through with the exorcism as planned. They recite prayers while she recites prophecies of war and destruction. One priest describes simultaneously feeling the power of God mixed with the power of evil as the supernatural forces fought each other for supremacy. After a long time, the spiritual intervention was finally over. In an interview 2 months after this episode aired, Gina describes herself as feeling much better now. The news story has never been picked up since, so who knows if Gina's change really lasted, or what has happened to her in the years since. So at first glance, this looks like it could be a real exorcism, but then again, it could be an instance of a news program taking advantage of a troubled girl and her family for ratings. There's no doubt that the priests believe Gina is possessed, and Gina herself is certainly not faking it, but there is just no way to tell if demons were really at work here, or if a group of overly religious people were being deceived by their own blind faith. Number 9, The Chosen One. As this exorcism footage goes to show, Christians aren't the only ones plagued by spiritual possessions. Here you see a supposedly possessed woman trembling under the power of group prayer, and it all begins with a single concerned-looking rabbi.
I'm gonna play some GTA while y'all watch this, and I'm gonna listen to it.
rabbi observes her for a bit. Then he stands up and says something to the crowd. Under his orders, they surround the possessed woman and begin. As the camera pans out, you can see that many rabbis have gathered here to perform this exorcism. The fact that they have so many at her while shouting for her demons to leave her body at once. At this point, the group exorcists. This video cuts out abruptly, so we don't know if the exorcism was successful or not. But by the end, we can see that some members of the crowd are smiling in relief. Number 8, sleep haunting.
Or whatever they were
YouTuber
saying.
named Dale Pendleberry is getting still wakes up in the morning feeling like he has gotten no sleep at all. He needs to get to the bottom of this, so he sets up a camcorder to record himself overnight in bed. Little did he know that what he was recording was his own possession. His camera only films when it detects motion or audio, which spares Dale the trouble of fast-forwarding through the... By night 3, something is apparently throwing him around in his own bed. Straight at the camera. There is no expression on his face at all, but it looks like his eyes are completely open. Dale drops back hard onto his bed without a word. Then, on the It's hard to tell if this is real or fake for sure. Number 7, TJ goes insane. A YouTuber named Adam Park is going on, so he pulls out his phone and starts recording. What the fuck? Oh my god, what the fuck? Adam opens the door and peeks down the hall. This is what he hears. What the f? The noise sends all 4 friends running back into Adam's room. One of them calls the police, and the rest decide to do what they can to help their friend. When they bravely walk back into the hallway, however, they find that TJ is far beyond help. Out of all of the videos on this list, I'd have to say that this one looks the easiest to fake. It wouldn't be that hard to have your friends all run around the house and then edit in some scary sound effects to make it seem like a possession. Then again, everyone does seem pretty scary. It seems realistic. If it is real, then I have no idea what happened after they stopped recording. Number 6, come here. Deanna Simpson lives in a notoriously haunted home in Hanover, Pennsylvania. She sees shadowy figures all of the time and has even possessed you in a second, at least according to Deanna. But if you want to know exactly how haunted this house really is, then don't just take Deanna's word for it.
Did you get scratched? He was behind the camera, but Simpson knew what had happened right away. Oh my gosh. He'd been scratched. Simpson says it.
Again, Deanna says that this regularly happens to her and to anyone else who enters the home. She says that this is a woman pinched by unseen figures as strange lights and noises fill the home. The reporter was definitely a believer by the time she left. By the morning, go back to their friend Brandon's home to set things up. It soon becomes obvious that they are not taking the idea of a Ouija board situation with blatant disrespect.
Can anybody hear us?
That'd be hilarious.
For a while, so they take
It's
a
just
break
like,
and come
move
back to
the
it
thing.
later.
What the?
They take the Ouija, they ask for the spirit's name, and the pointer lands on the number 6, which means that the spirit is potentially evil. At this point, Cole no longer doubts the power of the Ouija, what the spirit wants, and this is the response. Oh my god. The spirit spells out the word peace and stay. By now, everyone is too scared to continue, but by now they also don't have a choice. Brandon is acting very strange at this.
Okay, hey.
At them, they manage to get him under control, but he has been depressed and not exactly. Could just be a group of friends trying to play a prank online. It's impossible to say for sure if they're evil spirits. Here's just one of the many videos showing the Reverend in action. Bob Larson performs this exorcism is almost playful at times, but soon everything becomes much more serious. Believe.
We left the curse. We left the curse. We left the curse. We lit the gate. Fire and death. We lit it. Oh.
As the exorcism wears on, the alleged demon appears to be legitimate mental disorders that make them think demons are lurking inside of them. They could even be paid actors working for Bob Larson to make him seem like a real exorcist when he is not one. On the other hand, however, they could actually be possessed. Once again, it's very hard to tell if these are true or not. Number 3, Pope Francis. Many knew that the Pope was moments from performing a public exorcism. Not even Francis himself. The person in the wheelchair is a 47-year-old Mexican father of two. Francis lays hands on him. This is the end result. Watch closely and you'll see Angel's face twist and contort in pain, almost as if the demon is boiling under his skin. The longer or merely the power of suggestion at play. Whatever transpired between the two of them apparently wasn't enough to end all of Angel's problems. The point is that this is proof of just how powerful and dangerous the spirit world can be. If this is a real possession, then one thing is for sure. Supposedly from the 70s, and is said to have been removed from someone's attic in Iowa. You're about to see some shocking clips from straight ahead. Suddenly a nearby door opens all by itself. I don't mean just a hangnail either, I mean the entire nail. The man looks up at the camera and the scene abruptly ends. Apparently makes up a large part of the video, but unfortunately I cannot show it here. At one point, the possessed man cuts off his lips, and if so, it's very convincing and well done. Before we get to number 1, if you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT, with underscores instead of spaces. I also have a Twitter at YT_chills, where I post video updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me, and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. If you'd like to see more of these videos in the future, after the gunshot victim suddenly jumped up and started laughing hysterically. Possessed or not, I've never seen someone get shot and act like... He eventually stops laughing for a second. All attempts to reason with him are met only with growls and aggressive posturing. It looks like they are holding something in front of him to keep him from...
Ten creepy unknown creatures.
And with unknown environments comes the possibility of unknown creatures. Whether the footage on this list is real or not is up to you to decide. Either way, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Number 20, The Bridge Walker. A person in Ukraine was filming a calm river one evening just in time to capture a humanoid-looking creature cross underneath of a bridge using all fours, making its way across. Exactly what the creature is remains a debate online to this day. Some people have pointed sides if someone had to go underneath a bridge